This conference will now be recorded.
I'm calling the Airport Advisory Commission meeting for Tuesday, November the 7th to order. Lisa, if you do a roll call, please.
Vice Chair Expedito.
Here.
Commissioner Hall.
Here.
Commissioner McDonald.
Here.
Commissioner Hitchcock.
Here.
Chair Kunkel.
Present.
You have a quorum.
First thing we'll do is approve the agenda. If you look that over, please, if you've got any corrections or additions to the agenda, let me know. Hearing no corrections or additions, Chair will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Hitchcock.
No matter.
All those in favor signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next thing we're going to do is approve the minutes from the October 3 meeting. And I want to thank Lisa. Lisa, you're doing a good job on the minutes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you doing that. I think I have one little tiny thing this last go round.
Yes.
Yeah, so appreciate your work on that.
Is that KU and KDO? Just kidding. Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Do I hear a second to approve the minutes? Don Powell, just a second. He raised his finger.
I'll second it.
Okay. Big Donald.
Well, he did. He was first.
All those in favor, signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. All right, the first item on our list to discuss today is airport operations. I've got a feeling this is going to take a while, Jennifer, but I've got several notes on things. But go ahead and with your presentation.
Okay, passenger boardings is item A, and for the month of September, we had 3618 passengers that boarded to Dallas. Operations, and we just got this one in. I don't know if Lisa's had a chance to correct it. But for the month of October 17, was October, September.
So we're doing September.
Okay, she's got, but he just reported 1792 for operations, and he would be Matt. Just sent us a new report just right before this meeting
For the month of October.
for the month of September.
Oh, okay. So that's a change from what you presented.
Yes,
Sorry, you said 17?
1792.
Mr. Chair, could I ask a question?
Sure.
When did we discontinue the flight to Phoenix? When was that discontinued?
May 4th.
Did you want to go back and see the previous graph?
No, that's okay.
Okay, aircraft parking, we have 221 for September for a monthly total of 77,232.
Wait a second, please. Okay, so you've got 221 aircraft parked out there. And what was the other number you just gave me?
The parking fees,
And that was how much?
77,232.
Okay.
Okay, and then the next graph was, income and revenue report. Revenue is 3,396,432. Expenses are 3,146,262 for a net of 251,770.
So that's a pretty good net, really. That's better than the last couple of months. isn't it?
Yes, well, and we received those late.
Is any of that some of the revenue that you got from
outstanding accounts?
Probably not
Okay.
much. A lot of it came from the assent money that wasn't being spent, went back in. So now we're able to reduce some projects.
I'm just
But we
curious.
haven't taken them
The
out.
revenue was up. I didn't know if you've been capturing any outstanding.
We have, yeah.
Good.
Okay, and our project updates for DOT, the aviation, BLM, taxiway, the ADB lighting project, and the strategic plan will be on the city council agenda, hopefully for approval Thursday night. The state appropriations project, which is the water infrastructure phase 2, that ran through infrastructure, and it is on the council agenda for Thursday's night as well. That one is being spearheaded by Lewis in the engineering department. Terminal improvements, we're still looking at projects. We have discussed renovating the restrooms downstairs, flooring, HVAC. Many of these units are older units. And yeah. So we may be looking at that, but we also looked at a generator. And Excel has a program to install the generators, do all the maintenance on them. Mike will be coming out shortly to talk to me about that project and see what it would cost us to increase our electric bill a little bit to cover that for a 10-year program. And they also have one that they could possibly, we could use one like on the airfield as well. So we're gonna talk both, see what we can afford. One that I didn't have on here was the master plan, and I received an email this morning. The minor changes were made both from state aviation and FAA. And so those were corrected. Those will be coming out as well as the facility requirement. So we can send those to the TAC committee.
So will the TAC committee then have, what, a month to review those?
We'll
Send
have
back in?
at least
Okay.
that much.
All right.
With the holidays, it's going to be hard to get anybody to sit down.
We probably need to set a cutoff of mid-December, probably to do that.
The next item is BLM slurry pit. That is also,
Just a
oh,
second.
I'm sorry.
I got a question.
Mr. Chairman,
Mhm.
Jennifer, I'm sorry, can we go back to terminal improvements grant? How much money was in that grant?
On which one?
The terminal improvements.
2
grant?
million.
2 million.
2 million.
Thank you.
And so if you have any suggestions,
I just don't remember what the number was.
yeah.
So thank you.
we're open to any suggestions on the use of those funds. BLM slurry pit, that is also on the city council agenda for Thursday night. And as you remember, most of those are state aviation grants, either a 90-10, some of them are 100% reimbursable.
Jennifer, before we get to the next one, I'm behind the 8 ball here. I said I had several different questions and you just kept rolling, so I didn't.
You didn't stop me?
So I didn't stop. A couple things just in driving around, driving through the area, and I don't see our staff people here. But as far as Raw coming in, later this month to look at stuff.
I'm on it.
We need to, well, I know you are. But we need to make sure that the Esplanade area, grass not going to grow. That's where we, so cleaned and trimmed up and all the crap that people throw in the middle there.
Yeah.
Beer bottles and everything. That needs to get taken care of. And especially here in proximity to the terminal, because we've got the areas that aren't paved, like for new parking lots and stuff.
Mhm.
There's weeds and elm trees and stuff like that that have cropped up in there. And that stuff,
Yeah, we took a ride yesterday and
okay.
there's a lot of debris on this side that I noticed as well.
Yeah. So those are some things. you haven't mentioned anything, I'd like you to comment on the South Hammerhead situation past week.
Okay, I had that down on reports, but I was,
Okay. All right,
that'll be
wait
fine.
till you report. And then you also have a place to talk about aircraft movement for air sales.
And we discussed with them, we can talk about that too.
Okay.
We did meet with them as well. Well, I'll just bring it up. We met with them on the South Hammer this last week. And we talked about the South Hammer. It did get some damage from a 777 engine. And we're working with Charlie to remediate that area again, but also to look for another location, which we talked about was the Christmas tree. And
Right.
so he's looking into getting some glass fencing.
All right.
And so we'll
Christmas
meet
tree.
again.
Christmas tree is on concrete.
It is concrete in the center, it's asphalt on the end.
The keel is concrete and Mr. Chair, the keel is concrete and there is asphalt shoulders.
And
But you've
We
got a
have-
blast fence that sits on the edge of the concrete. That ought to take care of blowing out the asphalt, right?
That's correct. It's just a matter of where the location is for the blast fence and there are companies that just solely do that, Mr. Chair. And we rely on their services on, on where the blast fence should be located properly.
So would we have, since Armstrong has given us this info, where would we get the blast fence? Do we have components of that here? Or are we gonna have to build or buy?
You would have to buy.
Really?
Yeah.
then
So
Charlie
that's-
thought there might be some in Arizona. So he was gonna check on
Okay.
that.
So that's not an immediate
You took
fix.
it apart, it probably fall
No,
apart.
sir. There's a whole way of how blast fences are erected and where the locations are. Again, just depending on where the aircraft, on the distance, because, if they're too close and you put a 777 in, it'll just tear those up. So there's actual companies that design those blast fences based on the soil type or how it's situated in the ground versus, the thrust that's hitting those fences.
Because we've had these issues over the last couple of years. The blast fence itself, the direction of the wind and the orientation of the aircraft, they can't all be oriented because of wind changes. They can't all be oriented exactly the same way or direction every test period, can they? Or can the aircraft have to be moved around in reference?
Depends on your blast fence facility.
Right.
Like, if you go down to the Tampa airport, they have a pit that they can back an airplane in, and it's literally surrounded.
It's a U.
It's a big U. So no crosswinds can get into where they run it. And
So that make a difference what direction?
what direction it is, but it's,
Okay, but I can, if we dig a pit and put a fence up, you're talking a lot of money.
it's not a pit. I call it a pit, but they don't dig a pit.
It's their solid.
It's all blast
They're
fence.
solid. It's a solid structure.
But even if it's not a pit, if they put them in, that's still a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guarantee you it's a lot of money.
Wow.
So one of the things we did discuss with Charlie was leasing him that area at 10 cents a square foot, and then they would put up, and they could lease that space to other companies on field that do engine run-ups.
So they would put the fence in?
They would be responsible for that.
Yes, they would, Mr. Chair, yeah, they would, we don't, you know the cash situation here, so if they want to put something up in the next 6 months, they put up the cash and give them the land. We just aren't in a position to do it immediately unless we have other grants that come out.
Okay, give them the land means what?
Lease,
Okay,
all right. Everything will be leased here for a price.
all right. And then on the aircraft parking portion of that, I knew that we had some incoming aircraft, Air Sale had some incoming aircraft because of engine
They will be in
problems.
more than likely in December.
Okay.
Bravo will be gone. We're
So-
trying to keep part of the South Hammer, not South Hammer, the 1230, the west
Yeah.
end open. And we've gone out and we've cleared our area. AirSail was going to send their maintenance guy out to clear under some of their aircraft as well to make it look nice for them. But once they've come in and done their site survey, we will have all that space again.
Okay.
I think I moved the airplane out for the visit.
It doesn't appear that way.
So just clean up around. Okay. All right.
Okay. And the air service consultant contract, Chad visited with Mr. Hart yesterday. We're talking of going on a month-to-month contract. We're waiting for a contract from him. We are going to go back out for RFP by the end of this fiscal year, so we'll have see what's out there. I'm not saying we'll have a new contractor, but we want to see what's out there. So we will be going back out for RFP on that.
Are you looking at the same type of service or is it modified from the existing contract?
It'll be a little bit different. It may include some media advertising as well.
Just curious. Thank you. That was RP at the end of the year?
End of fiscal year. Okay, that's all I have.
Okay, so I spoke to Cayman Carter. He took on another project in the time frame that I've spoken to him last, but he also handed me off to another contractor that does the same type of work. So I spoke to the gentleman's name is Bill Prather. He lives in Denver. He's built auto hangars for the clientele that fly into DIA that park their cars to get to Vail, Winter Park, Breckenridge. So his model is more to house luxury vehicles that don't want to be exposed. But he's interested. I did send him my email information. He's going to send me some information about his company so I can do some research on who he is prior to us continuing on. We did have a conversation about the land lease, and he's interested in that pricing, and he would like to go ahead and get those site locations. And then we plan to have a site visit within the next 60 days because we want to move forward. And I had let him know that the commission was interested in us moving a little bit quicker with this than we have been, just waiting for Cayman to get out here. And he will probably be looking at more of a permanent fixture. So the lease will be a little bit more long-term. He'd like to have at least a 5-year with the options of renewal based on terms. So I think that's where we're at with that. And if you have any questions that you think are important for me to ask him as we continue on, please let me know.
So Cayman is totally out of this now? I wish you would have told us that 6 months ago.
Well, he took this other project in probably the beginning of September, which is when he put the feelers out for us. There were other feelers that went out and somebody else got in first.
Just didn't move quick enough.
Yeah.
Well, he was invited out. There's some things he.
Oh, I'm sure.
too,
I'm sure.
so I
He
mean,
was.
It wasn't, I don't believe it was all us.
No.
The whole
No.
process.
No, I think he just went to the different facilities quicker and wound up with a viable project. I don't think it was anything personal by any means, because he actually is the one who said, I know somebody else, you are a good candidate, and I'd like to help you, again, continue through this process with this other contractor.
So in your conversation with this Bill Prather guy, you're saying a more permanent facility, are you still talking a metal building structure?
If it's going to be the temporary, no, it'll be a metal building structure. It's going to have a lot nicer of an ephes face if it's going to be a permanent fixture here. So he needs to come out and look at the 2 sites, 3 sites, because I'm going to go ahead and let him look at all 3 of the sites that Cayman looked at. And then we'll determine which is the best avenue for him. He's also looking at starting with 12 units. So it may wind up being he takes 2 locations if he wants 12 units in 1 location. But I'm sure he'll start closer to the terminal. I did share with him that the advantages of our terminal space is so many people have transient workers that come in and they leave cars here for their staff. I don't know if you've seen them in our parking lot, but they have lock boxes hooked onto them and those type of things. But this would secure the assets of those companies in a little bit better of a way.
So if he's gonna do a more permanent structure, that means concrete slabs generally, which is way better than just putting them on asphalt or
Yeah,
dirt or
yes,
gravel.
yes,
But he's also gonna have to charge more.
he will.
Okay, well, let's just pursue it and see what we get.
Okay,
It's not an option. You can afford that.
yeah. Okay, and then I don't know, Mike, if you were the one that wanted to update us for RARA. I think Jennifer is planning on you doing that.
She
update.
was?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oops.
You didn't get the memo.
Mike.
Well,
So I think everyone has a pretty good idea of what's going on. We are now at site visit time. They'll be arriving the 27th of November. They'll be here overnight through the 28th, and they'll leave out the 28th. They will make a final cut to the final top or 3 or 4 communities, and they will make their announcement first quarter of next year as far as the location. So still originally had there were over 30 communities bidding, now to 6, we made the top 6. We feel pretty good about us, even with our competition, even Casper and their great marketing, and others. And we did the same thing. I mean, it's expected. We've been visiting regional communities because this is impactful throughout New Mexico, especially the Southeast. Every community has been extremely supportive. From Hobbs, Artesia, Carlsbad, hit up Portales tomorrow, Reed also Thursday, on and on and on. So it looks good. We've got teams of people. We've got another meeting this week. We got another meeting next week. We got so many meetings and on RARA that I lost track. But I think we're on a good path forward. A lot of strong input from a lot of great people, and it's much appreciated. I was speaking at Kiwanis today, and speaking to American Legion tonight. So I'm hitting all the civic clubs locally and answer questions and dispel any myths. So I think we're on a good pathway. You know, I think the 27th of the arrival it's going to be a big event, big deal. That means, and so we'll be looking for some other things happening. We're going to be putting up some signage, some billboards, we're doing a lot of social media stuff, some website. We probably want to put some signs out here, Jennifer, if that's okay with you, some yard signs.
Yeah.
We got stuff for the restaurants and hotels. We got a lot of stuff going on. So you hear me say it, you don't get a second opportunity to make a first impression. So this is to get us to there, and I think we get us to there. I think we're really good. I would be absolutely shocked if we didn't make the top 3 or 4.
Just making the top 6.
Yeah, but top five.
We need to make this happen.
Oh, yeah. I'll be at ICAS the first week of December, and they had hoped to announce the Final 4 there. I don't think we'll be done with all the site visits, but most of the board members will be there. So I'm a member of ICAS now, by the way, so learn more about air shows I've ever thought I knew. And the first race event is in 2025. They'll do an air show in 24 in Reno, maybe, if they get enough participation. I'll hear about that at ICAS. If they don't, they won't have an air show in 24, just plan on going to their new location in 25. So that'll give us a good year plus to get ready. A lot of things behind the scenes and work, but I feel pretty good about all the efforts that people put into it. So, and one of the big myths is the city paid for everyone to go on a boondoggle to Reno. Not true. The EDC paid for that out of their membership. As you know, we have city county funds, but we also have membership. We pay for everything out of membership dues, and the city and the county have not paid a single penny out of anything. So people think, oh, the city's funding. No, the city's not funding anything purposely. And the EDC board, as unanimously said, we want to move forward on this because it's probably one of the biggest economic development projects we may ever see. So we appreciate Jennifer and her team and helping out, and the site visit's going to be a pretty big deal. So thank you for what you've done, Jennifer, and what you will do.
Oh,
Excellent.
This is the easy one.
Questions? Rah-rah.
Yes.
Rah-rah. Air Racing Association, and when it becomes Roswell, it'll still be the same thing. It'll still be called rah-rah. So
That's point source. They don't have to, you know.
They're not container stationary.
well, they do, but they don't.
Mr. Chairman,
They answer the phone the same way, right? It's all rah-rah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, John.
yes, I'd like to ask Jennifer to give us a rundown on what efforts her staff will make, her maintenance folks, to get the grounds and FOD and everything else in tip-top shape prior to the arrival of our guests.
Well, the crew is already aware. They've been working on 1230, the show area. They will be doing FOD walks, as well as having the tenants help us in those areas, especially around the teardown area. And we're just looking to spruce up everything, take all the weeds down where they need to be.
The objections that you received from one of the tenants wanting a substantial amount of money to move aircraft, has that worked itself out?
At this point, John, we're just leaving them there. They're going to clean under their aircraft, so that area will still have aircraft during the visit.
Okay, well, that's reasonable. Thank you.
But what does cleanup mean?
The weeds underneath. We can't get to them. If they could move them, we could scrape them and spray them and, you know, make it nice, but they're going to send their crew out, and we volunteered to pick up the grass if they would just pile it there.
Is all that parking area concrete, asphalt, combination, dirt?
Concrete.
It's all concrete. And so all the places that we've identified that we're going to have this race design is going to be concrete area.
Except the ramps area. So there's static area, yes, it's all concrete. We're looking at the ramp. I'm looking at the map over there, but the map, we do have concrete asphalt on the entrance area by Baldwin.
Great, thank you. I thought I understood. I just wanted to hear from you again, from you. I've heard from other people, I don't want to hear from you.
So Jennifer, one last thing, the visit is going to be post-Thanksgiving. So realistically, all this stuff has to be up to speed prior to Thanksgiving.
I have made staff aware that
Okay.
holidays and vacations are involved here, and so we need to get on it now.
Right. Yeah. You know, because during Thanksgiving and immediately thereafter, I mean, we may have to move snow or something. Who knows? Who knows? All right. Okay, any other questions from anyone reference the Reno Air Race situation? Okay, item number 10.
So we are making headway on our roofs for the insurance claim from hail of 2021. The 1081 building, Allen Roofing, will begin their replacement next week. 1049 has been done and complete, which is Almond Painting's building. And building 1000 will be the next building that Brandon from Custom Construction will begin. We're waiting for a release of the previous bond, so he can attach it to this new job, but materials have been ordered and the crew has already been out to the site to verify everything that they're going to need to move into that project.
1,000 is speed travel.
1,000 is where Aero Designs is housed.
I'm sorry, so what are we exactly doing with that building? Just cleaning it up? Renovating?
It has to have a roof replacement because of the hail damage. So this is strictly just hail damage work. Yeah.
So one of them's completed and the other two are in process.
There are several to go through. They all have to be done by the end of April in order for us to get it closed out this fiscal year and allow the time for the insurance to reimburse us. So they're all aware of that deadline. The contractors are aware of that
So
deadline.
complete by
April.
1 April.
April 30th.
Mr. Chairman, that's one of the buildings that are going to be showing wrong.
Correct.
Just so you know.
We'll be aware of timing and beginning of that project.
But we can talk to that. I mean, that's
Yes.
understandable, but just want to say that is moves. That and Department of Health buildings,
611.
611,
Yes.
and some other stuff. But those are the two main ones. So we'll talk more.
That would be helpful. That way I can have them cleaned.
Yeah,
prior to-
yeah.
We're
Yeah,
not-
you need to know
we're
what
not
you're
taking-
talking about.
We're not taking them 93.
That's okay.
Next item, sir.
We'll move into the wind claim from this, not fiscal year, but this year, February 26th. On Thursday at City Council, WWRC's PO will go in for the replacement of the Youth Challenge building, which is building 610, and they will start work right away. There are an RFP out for the 3 other buildings that have been affected by that. The contractors have asked me for an extension twice. This is the second time I've been asked for an extension. These are our RFP general services, and then I added a state purchasing person as well on, so I can try to move this along as quick as possible. And they will go ahead and I gave them to the deadline of the 27th of November, and then it's kind of dropped dead. I have one that has gotten partial bid in, but we're working through getting those bids, and so I can take them forward through the finance and city council so we can get those projects started as well. They're a little smaller scale, except for hangar 84. And that one I will push. That will be the priority project since it's affecting the tenant the most. And with that being said, I have done a little bit of a hold off on some lease negotiation for that hangar, just so that I can get a little bit further down with repairs to that building before we start having conversations about value and square footage.
So ballpark for us, start time and possible completion time on this.
My intention for hangar 84 is to be done by the end of January. By the time you get the holidays through and get the contractor ready, and then the others will fall into place. They're specifically just siding, so they're not really exposing the tenant to a large issue.
So obviously all of it is not going to be completed until February, March next
Yes,
year.
it needs to be done by April 30th, also by the end of next year to meet the insurance parameters for reimbursement.
Any other questions on insurance, the 2 insurance claims? All right. Go ahead, Jenna, on item number 12, please.
We haven't had a lot of change in our vacant properties. We haven't added any, which is a benefit or a plus. But we do, I can't say much, but I have assisted with an RFP response to one of the vacant buildings. And looking at some other land lease options with some projects as well. But we are getting interest, and so it's looking like there's some positive outcomes for possibly filling a couple of the vacant buildings or at least leasing some land. I also wanted to, and I don't know if Lisa, if you can do it quick, maybe not. But if you have an opportunity, they did launch our Fly Roswell webpage this week. So it has all been updated, all the new information. The aesthetics of that website looks great. The reason I bring it to your attention is that all of our leasing opportunities are on that page with pictures, square footage, and what options are available out here for leasing opportunities.
So, go ahead, Mike.
I have a question. So, I'm sorry, but raw is like 9% of my brain today. I apologize for that. But in Reno, they have 238 general aviation hangars, 238. I know Hess doesn't have that much money, so would they?
He gets paid pretty well.
I will build an eighth of a hangar.
What they've done there is much of what we've been talking about here, and that is the leasee funds the hangar build while the city leases the land. It's the same kind of model we've been talking about, and I think that would probably be agreeable to continue that trend. The reason I bring it up, Jennifer, is can we look at where we would put this, something like this in our airfield? I would suspect, because I don't know where it would be, I would suspect we would want it near, obviously, the race course area because they roll right from the hangars right onto the ramp and take off. So it's. Could you guys take a look at possible locations before they get here so we can mention that to them?
Sure.
There is an RFI for general aviation development on our website as well.
Is that
already.
really old one? Or?
It is. Well, it has been updated a little bit, but we can look at renovating that because it is in that area.
Yeah, I'm just suggesting we identify possible locations.
Sure.
For hangars, because
I think that's been done before, hasn't it? Like 100 times?
Yeah, a couple areas, right? So, yeah, because Councilor Corn will tell you that he sold 4 hangars, whatever the heck that means. But we yeah, they're little hangars, but we still need to plan for it. Yeah, I know one gentleman said, yeah, we definitely want a hangar or 2. So I think we just be able to answer the question or tell them what the plan is.
Sure.
Yeah, Chairman, Mike, we actually had a layout on the end of 17. We actually did a whole G8 layout a couple of years ago. And I mean, that's one of the exhibits that we had provided to the city a while back.
Can we just, okay, that's great. Can we just?
So we can take a look at it. It may be over the race
I
course.
can resend that to you, Jennifer.
Yeah.
I can resend that to you.
Okay. I probably have it, but it may be over the race course and
It
I
may
don't
not.
know that might not be.
It won't be a player. You can't have over the race.
So send this so we can determine.
Yeah, it can be modified.
Right, and then the other thing is, if that's acceptable, I'm assuming that there's no infrastructure that will provide services to that area, at least not proximate.
It's over there where they were talking about on the other side of the line, really close to it. Not far.
To just extend that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, literally, isn't that,
Yeah.
it was on the other side of the bus plant?
That is correct.
Yeah. So I think you're in better shape, is what I'm saying.
Well, and what concerned me is power, because running power and power, that's a lot of power for a bunch of
Yeah, you
hangars.
have to put all that.
So we have to work with Excel and, I mean, there's some things, but we got to figure out where first and then go from there.
Yeah, you got one location.
What Mike wants is put a piece of paper down in front of him and say, yeah, we don't have 238 general aviation hangars now, but if we did, here's where they go.
Yeah.
That we've planned it out. That's what he's after.
Yeah, it's on this. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Jenna, do you have anything else then? I've got a couple of questions.
For the vacant properties?
Properties, yes.
Yes, go ahead.
So the 2 holdover leases are which ones? Cavu and what's the other?
Oh, we're going to the summary report? It's a GA hangar and
So hangar 91.
no, it's not hangar 91. It is 120, T hangar 120 space 1.
Okay. So that's not a big deal. The Cavu building 72 is still a big deal though. But we're not doing anything with that one because of the wind damage.
No, that's 72 is the warehouse across the street. The owner of Cavu is requesting a large amount of work to be done to the warehouse So we're having to work through bids and understanding of price per square foot once work is complete. We offered this at $2.25 a square foot as is, and it has not been accepted.
And it's not accepted because they can't use it in the condition that it's in?
They can use it in the condition it is in. There is an external plumbing issue, but the water's been turned off for a very long time. The heating units that are in there, the gas has been turned off for quite some time
So
as
it's a
well.
shell, it's a building shell
Mhm.
storage.
With an interior office space that we did rent abate them for, that they built a couple years ago.
All right, and then re-explain to me the difference between negotiations and approval in process.
So approval in process means that it is either been through this committee, another committee, or city council. So it is already in queue working forward.
All right.
So as of right now, we do have 13 expired leases. 7 of them are carryover in negotiation status. 6 of them, I believe, being GA, and 1 is the Kabu Aerospace. And then there are 5 new, but all of those 5 new that are expired are in the approval process, whether that means it came through your committee last month and is on city council for Thursday, or I'm presenting them today.
So the negotiations, those 9 are primarily building 91.
There are 4 from Building 91, yes.
Okay. All right. Unless, are there any other questions on vacant properties? Okay, Jenna, let's do start doing the summary, please.
That's this, that you jumped forward to.
Okay. Then leases.
Those will be on our action items.
Okay. Then we're down to item number 14, Jennifer.
Correct. The position, we had offered it to a young lady and she declined the position. Recently, we've had some renewed interest. We have some applicants that, so we are requesting HR pull all the applicants again. We're going to look at them again and set up interviews once again.
Is HR just doing this locally?
They are advertising on Indeed and we are advertising on AAAE, which is a aviation. Is it, which one is AAA? Yeah. So
I
we're,
think we also post on the municipal website.
So it's at least statewide, but really it's bigger than that. So with limited interest, does that mean we're not paying enough? Is that what the problem is? Okay.
Sorry, I stuck everything.
no, go right ahead.
So what was
Jennifer, we want to talk.
total rent this year is 2.8 million. Right, if we just hired out a commercial property manager, they cut 10% off the top. So what the city is capable of offering right now is, like with a lot of city positions, except for mayor, grossly overpaid.
And
Yeah, it's tough to, we just can't match the private market.
Were you still whining about Sunday's article in the paper? You told you could have inflated your money.
Is there also a skills issue?
We have downloaded that.
So somebody has to have some real estate background.
We would hope that they would. The one we had selected, she had some, she currently works for a property management company.
That's
But
houses. didn't it?
It was both.
Yeah, it was both. They were doing commercial as well.
Can the city consider doing work with some of the local staffing agencies? Like ITS Quest, who does lead qualification. I don't know if the city can do that.
We're gonna go through ITS Plus and have to stay below a certain financial threshold. So
What does that apply?
You know, what would be nice is a call said, yeah, we didn't qualify to do this job. Then from there, because they may have somebody in their books.
yeah, no, we've been asking around.
Okay.
I have-
As long as
I have
we-
a friend that works
Just-
at one of them.
Like I said, somebody who's
More
managing
elderly, yeah.
$10 million of commercial property, paid 6 figures.
Yeah, but the first one maybe not being one either. I mean, I get it. We have the same problem in the aviation world right now. It's all about the bucks.
Yeah, it's everywhere, right?
Absolutely.
It's everywhere. I mean, if we all got paid with Chris.
Yeah. But it is Chris. He's special.
He's been here a while.
Chris is sitting there. Chris don't get out of bed for 6 weeks.
Okay, any other questions of Jennifer on our property and contracts coordinator? In the interim, Jenna, just keep going.
Thank you.
What about training somebody, bringing them in, and mentoring them along?
We're
But you
looking
got-
at that.
Really?
That's what's gonna happen.
It's that, right? It's
Yeah.
gotta find the quality.
Yeah.
I didn't even gotta find the quality. Without the quality, there's.
Why would somebody come and work here for X when they can do it for Y for same job?
Okay, if there's no other questions for Jennifer, let's go to item
You
16.
can put that on the TPC website.
And Jenna, if you work through the Lisa's then.
All right, so this is to consider recommending Carlson Walker to enter a one-year lease agreement beginning January 1, 2024 and ending December 31st, 2024 for T Hangar 119 Space 1. This consists of 1,175 square feet, more or less, and it is for the purpose of storing and maintaining his privately owned aircraft. The tenant agrees to pay the landlord his rent the sum of $3,025.68. Annually and payable in 12 monthly installments of $252.14. This is just a 3% increase, and I stand for any questions.
Any questions for Jenna?
Did they ever get the doors on his hangar where they were?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean. Yeah, I know they're trying to help him. Oh, my God. His dad had the hangar, and he had the hangar. They had 100 years of being old here. and
Maybe
there.
that's why the door's been.
But you'd think the city would have offered one.
He has some bent rails, so we did go and fix and re-weld some rails in for him.
Any other questions for Jenna?
He's too old. to
Okay. Hearing no other questions for Jenna, do I hear a motion to?
Mr. Chair, I would-
recommend?
I would move this lease for Carlton Walker as
Approve.
specified.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 16.
So this is to consider recommending Tom Wadsworth to enter into a one-year lease agreement beginning January 1, 2024 and ending December 31st, 2024 for T Hangar 119 Space 3 and T Hangar 120 Space 3. Tom Wadsworth, the tenant agrees to pay the rent as a landlord to the landlord as rent sum of $3,025.68 annually, payable in 12 monthly installments of $252.114 for space for 119 Space 3 and $2,580.12 payable in 12 monthly installments of $215.01 for space 120 Space 3. This also is just a 3% increase There is a slight square footage difference between the two the two buildings. One is for 1,002 square feet and the other one is for 1,175 square feet, more or less.
So that's a 400, basically a $400 a year differential.
It's two spaces instead of one.
Okay, but the difference
Oh.
between the two monthly rents is about $400, give or take.
Yes,
And so that's due to the size.
correct.
Okay. All right. Any comments or questions to Jen? Do I hear a motion to approve as presented?
Mr. Chairman, motion to approve the lease for Tom Wadsworth.
Second,
All right, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 17.
This is to consider recommending Aero Design Services LLC to enter a one-year lease agreement beginning December 1, 2023 and ending November 30th, 2024 for 850 square feet of office space located in Building 1000. They're on the west side of the building. This is for the purpose of administrative support for aircraft repairs. The tenant agrees to pay the landlord as the rent sum of $10,200 and no cents annually, payable in 12 monthly installments of $850. This is a $12 per square foot. That does include maintenance and utilities on the building.
So the city is paying for maintenance and utilities.
Yes, we just do not pay for janitorial.
Any questions again on this?
wasn't there concern that they were occupying more than just that 851 square feet?
Yes, sir, that has been addressed.
Okay. Maybe at the conclusion of this lease, I'd like to come back and focus on this building with a question about RARA, if we may, please.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for Jen? Does the chair hear a motion for approval of the lease to Aero Design Services?
So moved.
I so moved.
First, second, John Powell. Sorry, John, you were late.
I'm just trying to get you this, that's all it is.
All those in favor of this lease as presented, signify so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, Jennifer, number 18.
Okay, the operational policies and procedures changes were submitted to AirSale. AirSale brought back some changes. We looked at them. We made some changes. Some we felt that were not necessary. And I have given them another final draft of this. Went to them the end of October. And last I heard, which was on the 1st of this month, it was sent up to their legal department. We're ready to.
Are the changes in this document here?
Is that the one that we had today?
I don't know.
No, we don't. No, this is the.
This is not the document, because I have the one that was produced from, I have the changes that were sent up to you. And, you know,
Some,
Yeah, that's been modified.
okay, that this isn't it. This right here, that's in this document that I have here isn't the modified one.
It has an amendment date on the 11th. Is that what you
is that
have?
the one you
Because
have?
this one here looks pretty much like.
That one says 7 something there.
We changed some, as I said, we made some changes, some we didn't feel that were necessary.
Well, I do have quite a few issues with this, the way it sits. So,
We better get with it.
okay, section 9. I mean,
Scrapping.
yeah. The way this reads to me is the airport, and this darn $25,000 deposit keeps popping up everywhere. I think that's just overdone. That's got to be in this one time, and everybody understands that. But
Well, they have to
the fact
understand
that we have that, well,
it applies to parting company and or the scrapping company.
if they're already here. So you're telling me that if somebody parks out an airplane,
There's different companies doing those
right, but
services.
they've
You
already paid
understand
the
that.
$25,000 fee one
If
time.
AirCell is here, they've already paid theirs. They're not required
Right,
to
so there's
pay a
another company
scrapping.
that's already paid. So this becomes a moot point because they're on the airfield. That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying?
AirCell doesn't do the scrapping. They farm it out to
Okay.
another company.
So the scrapping company comes to the airport. Do they have to agree to one of
Yes,
these? They're
yes.
already here.
Yes,
So here we are doing it again.
yes, because they got to understand they need to pay the 25,000 as well.
Okay. Anyways, it's here, we have to submit proof of ownership of aircraft to the airport manager and, you know.
That's always been in there. That's in the previous one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that there's a lot of structural problems with this whole agreement. The way I see it is, and a lot of them were addressed in this document you got, right?
They were addressed in the original document.
Right. I mean, the concerns were brought up.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have to have some way of going back and tracking this stuff and finding these aircraft.
Right. But just all of this, if you read this document, it literally tells me that the airport manager is in control of what goes on the airport as far as maintenance to an airport.
It's the airport's
It's
city.
not the
it's
airport's
the ci-
responsibility
it's the city's
of the
airport.
maintenance on the aircraft. You guys lease a space to somebody, you're responsible for that, right? So what the customers, I should say, do with their airplanes, they don't need to go to the airport manager for permission. They don't have to prove to them or anything like that. That's handled totally, I mean,
It's not coming across that way, Matt. We're not getting that information. We're having to go out there now and
but you don't need it.
do inventory of
We do
aircraft.
need it for the TSA requirements that we just got put on us to be able to track where aircraft are on our airport at all given times.
So the TSA is telling you literally that you have to provide proof of ownership of it.
No, the proof of ownership is so that the aircraft does not get crunched and it's not accounted for by the owner of the aircraft. So
David, this information should already be here in another report.
But it's not.
it's not always here. We
See right here.
get a parking report 30 days after or days after. We don't know if the ownership of the aircraft has changed.
There's just a lot of holes in this. I mean,
If there's,
I have submitted it. I've done it once and I never heard another word about it. I know you submitted it back to AirCell. They never told me they did. Because I went and worked with them on it.
so Matt, if there are additional problems that you've observed with this, then I would recommend that you sit down with Jennifer and Jenna and walk
I would
through
love to do
with them. So you set up a time with them
I will do that.
and walk through with them.
This is just I just feel that by one thing, you're putting too much onus on airport management to manage aircraft. If that makes sense.
No, it's our responsibility for what's out here.
So the airport's going to control the fact that the owner will have employed, trained personnel and all that. See, it's things like this that I don't think that the airport management needs to be concerned about.
And so let's resolve those issues between you and Jennifer and Jenna. And the only way to do that is not in this forum.
Well, we are here now and okay.
And then if there can't be agreement reached, then Jennifer.
Well, it's not an agreement. It's just, I'm not saying that it has to be one way or the other. I'm just saying that there's some things in here that the airport is trying to control that the airport shouldn't have to even worry about. You have to know the airplanes are here and who owns them.
Correct. And we have to know when they've disappeared.
And that's somebody who, if somebody doesn't report that correctly, then they're paying extra money for an airplane that's gone bye-bye. Right?
Well, they're not reporting aircraft here. That's what we've been
Well,
finding out when we go out and do an inventory.
I agree. I understand that. I do. I don't know how that, you don't get a landing report from the tower.
No.
That's the craziest thing. You know? I mean, there's a lot of things in here that I just don't see that the airport should actually have their fingers in. Just because you don't need to do it. It's just extra work for you guys. I mean, you're complicating everything. I'm sorry, Jennifer. I just,
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, John.
I've got two little minor typos that I'd like to point out for correction.
Okay, go ahead.
In section 1, line 5, it begins 15 and then it has parenthetically 10. I presume that 10 should be numerically 15.
And down here, I see another one.
And then under section 3B, at the end of the line, it says securing F the aircraft. I don't know if something's missing or.
I saw that too when I read it. I knew what it meant.
Okay.
Commissioner Hitchcock, can we buy a vowel?
Hey, there you go.
Okay, so Matt, you and the airport staff are gonna get together, hopefully resolve your concerns.
Yep.
If we can't resolve the concerns, then forgive me.
And I would be glad to sit in with.
Oh, I'd love it. I'd love
Okay.
to have all the participation. So, motion to table? Is that right?
Yeah, you have to make it.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to table,
Item 18.
is it 18? Yeah, to
Yes.
table item 18 for further consideration. All those in favor signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed, motion carries. Okay, Mr. Hitchcock, we need to go back to your discussion that I jumped over, reference building 1,000. What were your concerns on that?
Well, and it's not a concern specifically about 1,000, but with respect to Rah-Rah's visit, we've been talking for several months about what facilities would be ideal for them that we want to showcase during their visit. Obviously, 1,000 was ideal, but we've also been talking about, and I don't recall the hangar number, but I think we referred to it as the chalet they had a greater interest in potentially. And that kind of brings up again, where is the city or the FBO with respect to accepting their current lease? So that's a couple of items.
Jennifer? So, Mr. Hitchcock, the lease for the chalet has not been signed by the city. Council was given approval for the administration to execute, but the administration is not planning on executing until we know more about the races. As far as the lease for
Aero Design.
Aero Design's building, this is a 12-month lease, and all 12-month leases per the legal committee's instruction are month to month.
Okay, but again,
Could be available.
So yes, the Trans-Aero's entire building is available. Aero Design. There we, yeah,
It's
yeah, is available with 30 days notice.
So ideally, 1,000 would be a great place for them to consider. But if they're interested in the chalet, how are we going to address that?
The chalet is a little more complicated because of some lease conditions that were changed about a decade ago. And I'm happy to discuss that offline with you, Mr. Hitchcock.
Very well. Thank you.
All right, any additional questions from any of the commissioners or from staff or any attendees? I have a list, and Jennifer, I have not, this isn't finalized because the mayor wants to bless it also. But I have a list of people to populate the 3 groupings of stuff for the strategic plan. So I'd like to just read through that and then take any input from anybody.
Are these by the groups, the 3 groups that we're
Yes.
requesting?
Yes.
Okay.
So the first group is airport stakeholders. Jennifer, you and Jenna need to be on there. Don Fisher needs to be on there. And likely myself and John Hitchcock need to be on there. And if you can think of anybody else from the airport standpoint that needs to be on there, you and I need to visit. Then the city, and it's not just city stakeholders, it's gonna have to be city and county. We've got to include the county in some of that. So the city manager, and I've already talked to Chad, either he and or Mike Matthews would be on there. The police chief, Matt Miller with the fire department, talked to Bill Williams at the county, and he's agreed to serve on there. Karen Sanders is a city employee, but she works
Both
city
county
and
and city.
county. And then from AAC, Sean Powell has agreed to serve on that. And the mayor wants to be on that also. So that's the largest group so far.
Okay.
And then for external stakeholders, Mr. Spiritu, possibly Jennifer Cole, although I've got a call in to Brian Luck. I haven't heard anything back from him. But because she does CTE and stuff through RISD. Also Kyle Bullock from EDC, the chair, has agreed to serve. We need to identify somebody from ENMUR, and Sean says he's not quite ready to do that yet, probably in the next month.
Yeah, a couple of weeks probably.
And if we don't have that slot filled, it's not a train wreck. And then we likely need to have at least 3 tenants on there. We need to visit about that. And I thought a county person, Dara Dana, might be a good person to put on there. So you and I need to get together on possible tenants to serve on this. And then we still have 1 slot empty from ENMUR. And then the mayor wants to look through it. And I'm sure he's happy with it. But I think we get all that done probably in the next, I hope, in the next couple of weeks, except for the 1 slot that Sean put together. So any questions from any of the commissioners reference populating?
I talked to her today and she's going to be sending me out the list, the final, so we can provide her with the information
Okay.
for these folks.
Probably what we need to do is at least start, we can just make a copy of it and start putting together.
But they'll be here on the 5th and 6th of December.
That's correct.
And I believe they want to try to meet with stakeholders beginning the afternoon of the 5th and finish up on the 6th.
Okay. Well, there shouldn't be any reason we can't get this done before Thanksgiving. Hopefully.
Okay, no, this,
I'll push to get it
the
done.
list, okay, yeah.
I'll push to get it done.
Do you have any changes or things, others that you would like to see?
I had done my list, I don't, kind of almost, yeah, I think we're kind of on the same boat here.
Well, let's just look at that after the meeting's over. Okay, any other comments or questions on populating these groups for the strategic plan? Okay.
One question I had, Mr. Chair. So you said the 5th and 6th. So the 5th is an AAC meeting, right?
Good.
We need to talk about that.
And I will not be in town that week. But I'll have an EDC person representing my positions.
Really?
I will be here.
So that's already a few folks. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the possibility then of not having an AAC meeting in the month of December.
Well, have a Christmas party instead. How's that sound?
What would be the desire of the
Sure, why not? I would be okay either way at this time, but I can go with or without one.
Okay.
To give me a little more time to wrestle Jennifer over this.
No, we're gonna get it done before.
If I may suggest, Mr. Chairman, if we don't have a meeting, if there's any pressing business like leases, that we maybe do them by email with the commissioners versus not doing them at all, because I'm just thinking of time sensitive issues. That way we can get those resolved.
I think
Sure.
Okay, but leases would be, well, there could be something else.
There's a couple FAA leases that may come through the New Mexico Department of Transportation. I anticipate having, and then one of the T hangars has requested a renewal.
Okay.
So there might be about 4 of them.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, the management can sign a 1-month that's provided with resolution to the city. So if something needs to get signed, we can do it. Put it.
John, do you have a comment on
No, I-
or no meeting?
I was just gonna say, since that team's already gonna be here, we gotta meet with them instead of them this meeting, right?
Yes.
And if they need space, we have lots of space over.
Yes.
We do.
John, do you have a comment on whether we have a December meeting?
Parking lots are pretty wide.
We should get them up first.
He's not muted, is he?
Let's see now, I thought I was looking at my calendar real quick. I
5th of
certainly,
December.
I certainly will be here, so it's whatever the pleasure is of you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, we've basically got a toss up between the commission members.
We're okay. I think we're okay.
I agree with your comment. Let's work towards what's more important, which at this point may be
You're more important,
strategic plan.
Yeah.
but we've been waiting a long time.
And if we do have things that we have to handle, both Jen and Jennifer, I think we can handle those by email. So
Okay.
then the December meeting for the AAC will not take place. The next meeting will be in January.
And reset that date and time.
First Tuesday is the second.
2nd of January,
That's our first day back to
might
work.
as well get to work early.
That'll be our.
We may not be.
January 2nd.
Are you gonna be back then, Mike?
2nd of January,
You'll be here to post
which year?
24.
I'm pretty confident with it.
So immediately after New Year's is I mean, it's okay. I don't care.
Do I have
But our-
staff?
But
Wait a
our,
minute, do I have
There
staff
you go.
for taking vacation?
What's your vacation?
the city council meeting will not be until the 11th. So we could move our meeting to the 9th.
I would probably do better,
I would
Okay.
recommend that.
because most of the staff is gonna be taking vacation in December, so to get it posted and all that stuff may not be as
So
easy.
AAC meeting on the 9th of January, 2024, 1:30 here at the Air Center.
Mr. Chairman, I'll be out of town
You're always out of town.
that the night, so
Do you
San
have a phone?
Francisco.
Do you have
Yeah,
a phone you
call
can
in.
call in?
I might be able to call.
It's trash day.
And I will also be out of town on the 9th.
What about you, Matt?
Right now, I got trash day. That's it.
So does that mean you can be here?
Yes.
Matt? Okay.
I'm planning to be here also.
Well, that'd be at least 3 of us and hopefully 1 or 2 call-ins. All right, let's go with the 9th of January, 1:30 in the afternoon.
Got it.
I'll be here. Sorry if I'm wrong month.
Good.
I'm here about the January.
Okay, any additional comments or questions? We got through a lot of participation on things today. Thank you for most of you paying attention.
You're not talking about our phone.
I'm talking about the attorney. Okay, do I hear,
Yeah, you want, Amy, you want to?
Amy,
Amy, introduce yourself.
You may want to, I think everybody knows you.
No, so,
Well, for the record.
my name's Amy Butler and we'll be taking over Randy Phelps' place as the GM at Airsoft, starting the 1st of January.
Congratulations.
Be sure and tell Randy what I said.
I will make sure.
Yeah, thank you. He just dissed me.
I'm not that dirty dog comment.
Mr. Hubner,
He very much does to you.
he did. I called him.
I just emailed you
Do you have anything?
this
Okay.
version of the changes.
The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I think from, seriously, from our phone, my server, good thing.
So
Sean, you've got something.
just wanted to say, I passed these out to the staff. So the turkey trot is going to be the 18th of November. I've checked. Our time frame shouldn't interfere with anything at the airport. We'll just be blocking off the 1 lane of traffic like we do. I just wanted to make you aware of that.
In a while.
Let's do this, guys.
Casper turkey.
Was that both running?
Okay, anything else? All right, we'll try this again. The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Moved by Espiritu, seconded by Hitchcock. All those in favor signify so by saying aye.
Yes.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Who's melted? Is it true?
Yeah, I can smell it. It is melting.
Yeah, I would. But it's not.
That's not quite the